Hey, it's Randy here in the garage. What I got in the work stand today is my Schwinn Heavy Duti. I've had this bike built up multiple times in many different configurations. So today I'm just mostly bored, and the garage is warm enough today that I can stand to be out here. So I thought I'd try and quickly throw something together. I'm not sure which direction I'm going to go with this, so we'll just kind of see what plays out here. So this is just a heavy steel frame. It's got caliper brakes. So I did put a bottom bracket adapter in there so it would take a 3-piece crank. And let's see, I think this chainring's a single speed. I don't know if I'll run it single speed or geared. I do believe I had widened the rear triangle to accept a wider hub, a geared hub. And for the handlebars, I'll probably swap that out to something different, just so it'll be different from the last time it was put together. So first up, I'm going to figure out a wheel set and tires. Oh. Well, that hub won't fit without spreading the rear triangle. I'm sure I've spread this at one time and run a multi-speed on here. Maybe I spread it back in, or maybe it was a narrower hub. So multi-speed is going to require spreading the rear triangle. So I've got this red wheel. And I do like the looks of that, but I've had this bike built up with this same red wheel set before, and like I said, I'd like to do something different. So, could do green. I'm not so sure about that, but then again, it'll look different with a tire on there. So this is a coaster brake, and I'm just not that fond of coaster brakes like I used to be. So if I go with this wheel set, I will probably disable the coaster brake so I can freewheel, and we'll use our rim brakes. And as I always say, I know it's not ideal running the rim brakes on a powder-coated steel wheel, but that's just kind of how I roll, or how I stop. Now for tires, I've already narrowed it down to 2. So these are red on the tread surface there. I think I'm going to have to go with that tire. So I'm going to get the matching tire put on the front and get some tubes put in there, and then we'll go from there. Tires are mounted, got the tubes in there. Now I think I am going to disable the brake on this. Okay, now we're freewheeling. In case it's not obvious, this is not, this is far from ideal way to set up a hub or whatever. Once you have been freewheeling, there can be a lot of slop in there before the cog or the driver engages. But you know, it's what it is. Don't do this, or don't try this at home, or whatever it is. So yeah, all I did is remove the brake shoes. I just remembered we still got the coaster brake on here. So it doesn't hurt anything. Yeah, there's just additional weight. Now I can either take it off and put a washer in its place, or I can just hack it off with the angle grinder. That'd be the easiest thing to do and not have to deal with readjusting the bearings again. And there we go. I'm not even going to bother with filing it or anything. Yeah, and just in case you're new here, we're not building high-end bikes by any means. Just having fun. Having fun with putting forth the least amount of effort, I guess. The most maximum fun, for the least amount of effort. Maximum fun, minimal effort. There we go. So I'd like to use them black tires just due to their width. I've got a lot of space to fill here, both front and back, and I think it just looks nicer when you fill that space up with tire. But I couldn't pass on the having that little bit of red in there. So now I think we'll address the cockpit. And like I said, I'd like to do something different just to mix it up. Plus, this stem with its curve, I don't know that it goes so well with the angular lines of the frame. Of course, the fork has this curve in it. Oh, let's see what we can come up with. Okay, I'm going to take this stem and bars off here. We'll just reuse these brake levers. There's no reason not to. Like so many other of my handlebars, I've extended these so there's a little bit of a bulge there where I welded. It makes it hard to get the levers off. Okay, let's see what we can come up with. I forget, this steer tube is what, 1.125", I guess? So it takes a pretty big stem, which I probably don't have very many of. So we may have to shim something. Uh-oh. Well, this appears to be the right size stem by measuring it, but it sure doesn't want to go in there. I'm afraid to force it. I won't be able to get it out. And then this, what's this? 22.2 millimeter, and we'd have to shim that. Now that fits pretty good, but that's a homemade adapter. And we don't have the right size diameter up here for a stem to fit on there, so I'd have to shim that, which, none of this is ideal. So here are some handlebar stem choices. Oh my gosh, that's that would require too much of a shim. Someday I'm going to build a bike just for these handlebars. Ooh, this one we've already got a basket pre-installed. Again, I kind of like that, but again, I'd have to come up with a shim. Now if we go with a stem adapter, what do we have here? These are handlebars that I've modified. They were cruiser bars. They were more swept back. I cut them here, angled them out, welded them back together. I'd have to use some shims in here. Man, that is one beefy stem. And that's why I bought it. It was just so different, but I just don't know how it looks. It just makes the handlebars look so small in diameter. Okay, now I've decided to paint these yellow to match the frame. So I may be getting a little bit too wacky here. I don't know. So we're going to see how this looks. Okay. Well, these bars I've extended also. So these are probably identical to the bars that were on there that I took off. Now for some grips. I'll just go with these black Ori grips. The cable's in bad shape. Got that too tight. There we go. Kind of slim pickings for 9/16 pedals. Of course, obviously that's not going to work. I do have this red. I really prefer to just use black, but I think we're going to have to go with the red. I really don't like this chrome seat post. There's really no other chrome on the bike. And I'm just not a fan of chrome. Man. So I have this aluminum modern seat post, I guess. I don't know how you differentiate between these two. What do you call the one that has the integrated clamp versus just the old style? I don't know. So I've narrowed it down to these two. I mean, the black obviously goes, but I do kind of like the leather. Oh, hadn't tightened that yet. Well, I believe that's everything, and it's ready to ride. I'm not 100% confident in some of the choices I made here, but we'll see how it goes. I think I am just going to end this video here, so be watching for a ride and build recap video, and we'll just see you then.